Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, a 2 hour epic piece of crap I just endured. Um, so disappointing. After the fabulous 2016 Doctor Strange, the original, although there was a movie version of Doctor Strange years before that that was okay. But I love the 2016 version. Benedict Cumberbatch did a fabulous job. It was just a splendidly made, crafted film from beginning to end, well written. Um, the parts that I liked mostly were not the action sequences, but the actual storyline itself, the development of the character Stephen Strange and the supporting actors. It was just a film that had a little bit of everything that charmed me. It had little bits of humor, but also it had an intense story with spiritual significance and meaning that I saw it 9 times at the movie theater. I will never even watch this version, the Multiverse of Madness, on DVD or streaming or anything again. It was difficult for me to endure. I looked at my time, my phone rather, time on my phone at least 20 times, hoping the movie would end. There were several walkouts in the film, and I don't blame the people for walking out, but I had to see how bad this movie could be, and it was bad from beginning to finish. So let me expound on that, because if you liked it, it's getting a high rating right now, I see, like just about as good as the original, a 7.6 on IMDb. I gave it a 1 star. If I could have given it 0 stars, I would have. It was just a mess. The best actor in the movie was the Watch, Doctor Strange's Watch, followed by Cumberbatch himself, who's one of the finest actors out there going, male actors. So he does the best he can with a totally lame script by Michael Waldron, who's noted for Rick and Morty and Loki and 3 other films. Not really a great screenwriter, in my opinion. That's the biggest problem with the film. There's no script worth hanging your hat on. It's a horrible script, and I felt bad for the actors that had to deliver the lines, except they probably made a fortune in salary, so I don't feel that sorry for them. Let's get into the movie a little bit itself. It's directed by Sam Raimi, whose best work was obviously 1981 Evil Dead and the late 80s Evil Dead 2, The Quick and the Dead. He's got a lot of movies with dead in the title. The Gift, the baseball game, For Love of the Game with Kevin Costner was pretty good. So he made some pretty decent movies there in the 80s and the early and mid 90s. Then he kind of fell off. His Spider-Man movies 1, 2, and 3 with Tobey Maguire are pretty decent. I like those the best of all the Spider-Man movies. And then he just fell off the charts. I guess marriage and having a family and everything softened him up a little bit. But the script is about a disgruntled mother who's got histrionic personality disorder, apparently. She's deranged and psychotic. She proclaims this great love for her children. It's Elizabeth Olsen playing Wanda the Witch, which is kind of a goofy name for a witch, if you asked me. Reminds me of a Bewitched, the TV show, or something like that. Samantha, that was a better name. Wanda, come on. That's never conjured up fear in my heart of anyone. And she's just too good looking. She looks kind of like, I hate to say this, but she looks like a stripper a lot of the times with that heavy eyeshadow. As the mother, she looks very sweet. But what's all this cute little boy overacting? The heroine in the movie is a young Hispanic Latino girl named America Chavez. What a name. And she's not a very good actor. She's just looks like a TV actor on a teen Disney show or something like that. By the way, this movie's produced by Disney. You ought to know that. Disney's ruined Marvel. When they bought Marvel, it just became Disney-fied, and it's corrupted. It's nothing like it used to be. Even though they did own the company back, the original Doctor Strange in 2016, that was just a way better movie, as is Avengers Infinity War. Those are the 2 best Marvel movies ever made, in my opinion. So many rest of them, there's some other good ones in the mix, but so many of them fall short because they just try to go too many places with too many characters. The movie itself has too many action sequences that are just fast, wham, bam, boom, bam, all over the place, like a Popeye cartoon. It's hard to keep up with what's going on. It's like a World Wrestling Federation match. It's good versus evil, as we always have. There's a convoluted script about multiverses, which, frankly, if you want to see a movie about the multiverse, go see Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Go see that film. That is a mind-blowing masterpiece dealing with the multiverse. This movie is like the cartoon TV Saturday morning cartoon version of Star Trek episode of the multiverse. I mean, it's just lame. It's just pathetic. Really stinks. And I can't say enough about how bad the movie was. There's a cameo by Bruce Campbell. It's not very funny. Really, I didn't laugh one time at the jokes that are supposed to be funny in the film. And I didn't laugh out loud at the absurdity and stupidity as I did in the Matrix Resurrections, was it? Yeah, the Matrix movie that came out. This is just one of the absolute worst sequels I've ever seen in my life, and really a terrible, terrible movie. It didn't have any subtlety to it. There's no real drama. The characters are not compelling in the least. There's no depth to any of them. The acting is stiff and wooden. I blame Sam Raimi, who's just really shown that his best days are way behind him back in the 80s and the 90s. You know, he did direct some fairly decent films. Maybe Sam should have written this movie himself instead of handing it off to this Michael Waldron, who just turned in a terrible script. I mean, this movie's obviously made for 13-year-olds. I mean, as an adult, I went to the movie hoping it would operate on the level and sensibility that an adult could enjoy. It is a Marvel Disney movie, granted. I wasn't expecting it to be, you know, Kubrick film or David Lynch or Martin Scorsese quality, but I was expecting a film at least on par with the 2016 Doctor Strange. And I was so disappointed and ripped off. And if you were allowed to go get refunds for awful, stinky movies, I'd be the first in line right now demanding a refund. This movie is just abysmal, really bad news. Now, if you go see the movie and you like it, please write a comment below what you liked about it. I'd like to know. I'm very curious. Wong, who was very good in the original Doctor Strange, he's lame in this one too. Nobody really gets any great lines to deliver. As I say, it's just a movie that is weak from beginning to end. Raimi borrows a lot from his original movies, Evil Dead movies and Army of Darkness, which didn't play very well. I watched that again just a while ago, like last year on DVD, Blu-ray. It didn't really hold up too well. Frankly, I found the movie a little bit trite and boring all these years later, 30 years later. I mean, back in 1991, it seemed like a pretty cool movie. Today, not so much. So I'm going to have to give a big thumbs down. If I could make my thumb bigger, there you go, I can. That's what I give to this movie, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I wish that I could have gone into another multiverse and seen a better movie version of this movie. But unfortunately, I'm trapped in this multiverse universe, and I felt like all the allegories they made to the dark side, the dark hole, this book they're looking for, this chasing around. It's like the Three Stooges, or, you know, some kind of movie like that, the Keystone Cops. It's got certain comedic elements that are really not very well done or funny because it's a lot of CGI, which frankly these days is just getting overdone in these superhero movies. They could learn a lot from episode 3 of David Lynch, the Showtime series of Twin Peaks that I'm just now watching for the first time. There's a scene in that movie where they're in space and the void floating around, and it's horrifying, terrifying, and it's very subtle. There's not a lot of loud noise and crashing and explosions. David Lynch knows how to use silence to really capture eeriness and strangeness. And oddly enough, and ironically enough, the film entitled Doctor Strange, there was nothing really that strange about the movie. It was just an absurdist effort that was not even good enough to call it surrealism. It was more just a rehash of the last movie, but done very poorly, as if a young film student, 15 years old, had decided to make his own version of Doctor Strange. That's how it came off to me. Very lacking in any substance whatsoever. So, I mean, I just can't say enough negative about this movie, but now I want to just go flush it out of my mind, forget about it, go home and watch more of David Lynch's wonderful Twin Peaks and forget this movie ever existed. Oh my God, what a loser. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness really stunk up the joint bad.